right, folks, you are watching a virtual Visioncon, and we are Fanatics and the Fan, joined with, of course, Pop Goes to Culture, our partners. Hope you guys are enjoying this virtual Visioncon. Ingenious idea. We have a very special guest, but he's also one of our Fanatics, and I'm going to introduce him first before I introduce the other guys, because they don't really matter. They're just nerds. Welcome back to Visioncon. Oddly enough, whenever we do Visioncon, he's a part of us. He's with us, but trying to find him, biggest fanatic in the group, hardest guy to find at Visioncon weekend. Please welcome back to Fanatics and the Fan, Mr. Brandon Shane.
Hey, how are we all doing today?
How's my favorite fanatic doing?
Oh, pretty good. Life's been fun. Turned 30, canceled a con, had fun.
And actually, as you start talking about cons, that's one of the things that's a major part of Fanatics and the Fan. Getting interviews, doing the stuff that we do. Brandon, we have what we call road dogs or con crews, and Brandon's a major part of my con crew. And I'd love for him to share my favorite con crew story. He's not going to want to share it, but I'm going to make him anyway. Brandon, do you remember trying to get a soundbite from this really famous person that you absolutely love?
Yeah, Miss Felicia Day.
Nicest person ever, right?
Oh, amazingly wonderful. So nice. I walked up to her and I was trying to get an autograph and I was asking for a soundbite, and I was just so tongue-tied over just starstruck. And I don't get starstruck that much anymore. It's kind of become, I see a lot of celebrities. I go to a lot of cons, see a lot of things. So it takes a bit for me to get there. But she just had me words over myself. And she seemed like she'd be into it, but she didn't understand what I was asking. And then by the time I finally got it out, her agent next to her goes, "Nope, move along, move along."
So now, you say the name of the show now? Do you know the show that you're on right now?
It was terrible. I've never not said so few words in that long amount of time.
Also joining us, one of our favorite fanatics, Stephen and his family have been con people, nerds, cosplay nerds, all their life. Stephen Denton, how are you, brother?
I am doing well. Yourself?
Listen, I miss you guys, miss doing the con thing. Now, you have a great deal of convention stories, don't you, under your belt? Any good Visioncon stories?
My favorite moment, I guess story from last year's Visioncon was doing the trivia with Fanatics and the Fan. We had such a great time. Everyone was into it. Yeah.
And when we're back to seeing each other, I promise you, Fanatics and Fan will go back to doing trivia at Visioncon and any other outside places we can do. Stephen brings up a good point, though. And Brandon, I will say this is mostly your fault.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Although he cheats. I'm just putting that out there now. If you guys ever join us on Jackbox Night, Brandon cheats.
It's not cheating when you have all the knowledge in the world.
Y'all didn't see me roll my eyes, but I'll do it again. That's right. So Fanatics and Fan has this really cool thing. You guys have family game night. We just have game night with Fanatics and the Fan live. Every once in a while, you'll see those little events pop up where we're just gaming. With the cool thing, it's jackbox.tv. Brandon, tell me your favorite game from Jackbox.
Well, it's got to be Trivia Murder Party. I mean,
have you played 2?
I have not played 2 yet. I've not gotten the chance. It's great.
So they added a really cool rule to the end of 2. To get out, you have to have the exact right answer.
Oh, that's easy for me.
Yeah, we'll see next time we play. I've enjoyed Quibbage, Fibbage. I don't know why nobody else loves it. I love Guespionage. To me, it's a lot like Family Feud. I'm a fan of Steve Harvey. And it's a level playing field. But it's still easily one of my favorite games. And if you're wondering, we actually play Jackbox 1 through 6. And it's a wonderful thing. And you guys are going to get invited to do that. And we play that live right here on Zoom, just like we're Zooming right now. And if you wonder who that guy is up there, he's right there. Right there. He's right there. and he hadn't said nothing because we haven't hit his stride yet. But we're going to hit his stride right now and talk to him about some stuff. And I know exactly what him and Brandon are going to talk about. Please welcome to the show from Pop Goes the Culture, the great gaming god himself. What's happening, Dakota?
Hey. Yeah, Dakota, Pop Goes the Culture.
You just did a top 10 for Final Fantasy, correct?
Yeah, me and Zach. It was
and
awesome.
You finished the game, correct?
Yes, I just beat 7 Remake 2-3 days ago.
Has our current situation changed the face of gaming, do you think? Brandon, Steven, Dakota, any of you?
Oh, it made Animal Crossing one of the most popular games in the world.
Yeah, my wife and I play Animal Crossing super hard, and I never thought I'd find myself playing that game.
I'm the same way.
It's a nice little island escape when you're stuck at home for 3 months. I've seen some articles talking about because there's all this stuff about whether playing video games is actually bad for your health to play for extended periods of time or bad for mental health, and there's been a lot of studies, more now than ever, talking about how it's honestly been pretty healthy and productive for a lot of people. It's keeping their minds off of the stress and the worries of everything. It's keeping them going and doing stuff. So, I mean, I think it's been really helpful. It's changed a lot, yeah.
I think one of the nice things for me has been, and it's terrible that all my friends are out of work right now and they're not doing anything, but now we all have time to game together no matter what our schedule is. So
yeah, that's been fantastic.
We spent a lot more time, even if we're not in the same room, gaming together. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So now, Brandon, were you able to join you're not a big in the role-playing game, but honestly, Final Fantasy VII Remake, one of the hottest things they've done in a long time. Have you joined that bandwagon or not?
I have nothing on that, mostly because I know that if I play it, I'm going to love it, and I'm going to hate that I only get part of the game. So I will probably end up waiting until they finally finish it all and do it all in one collection instead of.
Yeah. It's been a real fun time. I started 7 original over again after I beat it. and just to see like how it's spaced out, because it's been so long since I played it. And I mean, the first 9 hours of 7 is pretty much the 50 hours they've given you in this remake.
Yeah.
But I mean, they stretched it out in a good way. It doesn't feel super fillery. It's really kind of just build out the story all around. It's been a lot of fun.
I like it enough to where I'm probably going to cosplay one of the characters, and that's really cool. I don't usually do video games, so that's different for me. But I will tell you guys,
you make a great Tifa.
Yeah,
I will hurt you. I will hurt you. I will listen. I will send a telepathic message to that cat behind you and have him attack you from behind. So I will tell you guys a funny story about me finally playing. I'm also a huge fan of the Final Fantasy saga. Very much enjoyed 7, so of course I'm going to buy the remake almost immediately. So I'm playing it, but I'm trying to space mine out so my body doesn't get actively sitting on the couch for 50 hours like Dakota did. So I don't need a permanent ass print in my couch. I could just sign it Final Fantasy 7 to get a new couch. So I put chapters. I start chapter 2, and if you remember, spoiler alert for everybody that's not played the game yet, chapter 2 starts, there's fires all around you. Well, my next door neighbor decides to have a bonfire at the exact same time. But I didn't know that. All I know is I smell smoke. I'm like, wait a minute. How much extra work did they do on the game?
4D.
They added smell-o-vision to the game. Now, folks, if you've probably seen the show, we know a lot of the cool, nerdy things we talk about. What we're talking about right now is no different. Brandon, also, I will say this, one of the wonderful things we've added to Fanatics in the Fan, of course, is our cosplay of the day. There are little secrets and stuff about that you guys will find out that you've actually seen us do recently. And by the time you guys get this, you might actually be able to see it. We're also going to add cosplay of the month. So whoever, our favorite cosplay of the day will actually become a cosplay of the month. You guys have been enjoying the cosplay of the days we've been doing? Anybody stand out for you so far?
Absolutely. It's been so much reaction on the social medias with the different cosplays, the amazing cosplays, all the work that these people put into these outfits.
I try to add a little variety, but I swear some of those folks actually either do this for a living or have no life. One or the other.
Why not both?
Yeah, I gotta say I love the Monster Hunter stuff. I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, and there's so much detail put into those.
Right? I found those on accident.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a little inside secret. Don't tell nobody. The way I pick the cosplay of the day is whoever likes. If you liked the days previous, that's because I want it to be somewhat random, and we never actually meet. And that's how I've been picking them. And when I saw those, I'm like, so good. And Brandon, we know a lot of foam guys, but let's face it, our cosplay of the days could give some of our foam guys, some of our guys.
Oh yeah.
Money.
Oh yeah.
Anybody stand out for you, Brandon?
I love Cullen cosplay a whole lot. So we've pulled it for them. I loved it.
Listen, the reason why that went up, not just because it was great, because Cullen is amazing.
Oh yeah.
I think I told Dakota, I hate this dude.
Yeah.
I hate how good he is at this. It's a crime. But if you notice, he's got texture on that armor.
Yeah.
Actual texture to every one of those pieces. Texture to foam. That's not easy.
No.
And we're going to keep talking about, if we're going to talk about cosplay for a minute. Again, I got all my road dogs here. Can you remember your most shocking cosplay moment at a con? Where you had to do a double take?
I saw a spot-on Roadhog from Overwatch, and it was a woman. I mean, she looked like Roadhog. I mean, she had the big pig paint on her belly, and for a second I thought I was in a video game. It was so spot on. I saw her from across the room, and I was like, I have to talk to that woman.
Brandon.
There's a lot. I'm trying to think. Because I like a lot of the big builds. I think one of the cool ones I saw, it was at Planet last year, I believe it was. And I forget his name, and he's one of the showrunners for, I think it's Smallville. But he had the big dragon. He was dressed up as a king from Game of Thrones. It looked awesome all together. I loved that.
That was one of my favorite displays, but his costume, to me, I have pictures of it as a constant reminder how much they screwed up that storyline in the next TV show. Anyway, sorry, I just hated all of season 2. They could have done
Season 8 goes up the rails pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could forgive 9 if 10 was better.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you, Steven? What's your head turning cosplay?
Oh, like Brandon was talking about big builds. I remember Planet from a few years ago, I believe. There was this giant, I guess life-size Groot.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah, I have a picture of that actually.
It's not an easy cosplay to pull off in any, and when you have those big ones, you automatically have to put on stilts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, come on. I'm trying to think of my head turning moment. If I were to pin myself down to just one, would be Night Mage, and when he did Savage Dragon, so I'm walking down the aisle, and I look, I'm like, damn, I guess somebody else does know about this comic book. Because a lot of times you just have those obscure things in your head, like nobody's seen Savage Dragon but me. It was just me. That's why they got canceled, because I'm the only one who was reading the book.
Yeah.
And he's that good. He was an announced guest for Visioncon, and I know that Brandon's going to work really hard to have him back. He's one of the most
cool
cosplayers I've ever got a chance to meet. Worst interview I've ever done, because I couldn't stop going to his book, because he is fearless, he is limitless. I'd say one of my favorite of his cosplays, not just Savage Dragon, but just of him. He does this Spawn that is just. Brandon,
I've seen the Spawn.
His Spawn is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a huge number of great ones. He's been posting a lot of them recently too. So I think he is he's so prolific, and I can't wait to meet him eventually.
And that brings up a point, and we don't, because of our current crisis, we don't have a lot of news. I want to talk about, for just a hot second before we move on to the next topic. Where are we all sitting on this Spawn remake and what's going to happen? Because remake is a huge thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, you either remake it, redo it, reboot it, re-envision it. Your work is going to get redone, period. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So as something as iconic as Spawn, which, let's face it, they missed the mark the first time and still was successful. They made money.
Yeah.
We got on a Spawn, on a possible, not a possible, definite Spawn remake, and the possibilities in the modern age on a Spawn. And I'll start with Steven.
I remember, the original, with Michael Jai White, and I enjoyed that, and I guess I have hopes for a new Spawn with, all the technology that they have now, and it always depends on who's backing it. It depends on the story that they come up with. And they gotta get the right actors, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of pieces that got to come together to make it good.
Brandon, is it even worthwhile, or should they just let it go?
I think Spawn is an excellent IP. I think that it's something that they should definitely take the time to explore. If it can be done well and written well, I think that we can have a new hit show on our hands. It's still have to see, what comes out, but I'm optimistic as always.
Now, in your personal experience with your love of certain things and then being rebooted, what are you going to vote on? Where are you banking? Just on your personal experience and reboots.
I'd give it a good watch. I'd say at least it makes 2 or 3 seasons.
That's the mark of a true diplomat.
Like I said, I am ever optimistic. I've watched Fox ruin the X-Men so many times over that I keep coming back anyways. So, now that we've...
And this is for the whole panel. Why do we keep coming back? Despite what we know is going to be terrible.
Because it's
Logan worked out. Logan worked out great.
That's it. This is the only one.
1 out of 9's not bad.
I know for me, it's just that X-Men's always been one of my favorite franchises. To see, the first X-Men movie, I absolutely enjoyed, and the second one wasn't terrible.
I like the first one only because it existed.
And I know that we are getting just hit hard with so many nerd stuff these days, but I will always want more. I consume media at such a pace that I can continue to see more real time.
Yeah. Kevin Smith talks about that too. You got to be ride or die with a lot of this stuff as a nerd, because even when DC's admittedly dropped the ball on most of their movies, but if you stop going, they stop making them. So every once in a while you get that Wonder Woman and that Shazam, and they have. If you don't show up for it and support it as a nerd, then we're gonna lose all that nerdy push that's been happening.
So let me ask you guys this, because we can all agree that the X-Men franchise was terrible. And I will freely admit, I went to see Days of Future Past strictly and solely because they added Blink, who was an obscure character from a different series that I actually like, that they better not ever do because they can't do it right. And if you guys don't know what it is, she was the lead in Exiles, a great series that the minute they changed writers, the book took a nosedive and disappeared. The writing was awful in the last run of that. But I wish Dustin was here. He could speak on that.
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot of the X-Men. They actually at least have shown you a great deal of the X-Men across the board, across the series. Search your brain. Who's your favorite X-Men? Dakota.
Oh, shit. I'm a big Nightcrawler fan.
Which one was your favorite, though?
Oh, the movies. I thought you meant X-Men specifically. Okay.
Just the movies, you dork.
Now I'm going Logan. That was the closest they've done to getting it right by the comics. The storytelling was great.
I asked you what was your favorite X-Man.
Oh, goddamn! That's what I said at first was Nightcrawler.
Okay, but you were given 2 X-Men, 2 Nightcrawlers. Which one?
The first one in the movies. That I was a kid and I was still learning about nerd culture, so I didn't have that reference to know how bad the original X-Men sucked at the time. And so that first time I saw that Nightcrawler right there in the movies, I don't know if it's the second one where he shows up, but that blew my mind. Like just teleporting everywhere, being a badass. That
I actually, as much as I didn't like that movie, I like what they did with Nightcrawler for the most part.
Yeah,
he was a little too cowardly, I never thought of. Nightcrawler's always been a clown to me.
Yeah.
Or a showboat. Never. I mean, he was cowardly. But Brandon.
Yeah. Can I say Deadpool?
No. Nice try, though.
I'm a big fan of Colossus. I've liked Wolverine movies.
Technically, you only got 1 Colossus in the series, so.
Well, but technically, those are X-Men offshoots, and they are X-Men and Deadpool 2. So, technically.
How you argue with nerds. Make them pin them down and stuff.
But yeah, I'd have to say probably my absolute favorite, and that's just because of the performance given by Sir Ian McKellen, probably Magneto.
He's a hard character to play.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 2 Magnetos. I don't disagree with one of them.
Oh yeah, Fassbender's great too.
I'm not a fan of Fassbender. If I'm going to say that someone is as accurate to the comic book, it's going to be Fassbender, because he was mad. He was angry the entire time, and that just screams Magneto to me.
Yeah.
Steven.
I think growing up, prior to the movies, I would say my favorite X-Men was always Cyclops. Movie-wise, I would go with Magneto, either one. As far as like the newer comics, I like Madrox.
I love that they added. So here's what I love and dislike, and I'm still going to answer the question. Kelsey Grammer as Beast, and that particular movie, I knew they were going to just blow the world away with addition of all of these X-Men. I'm not, and that's all I'm going to say on that, and we move on. Because that was the only thing that movie held for me, was the fact that they were going to add all of these X-Men, and they were going to show teamwork. That was it. Moving on to the other topic. Beast was always one of my favorites because he was smart, and I liked the second Beast, but I love that Kelsey Grammer had the balls to play Beast.
Yeah, at that time, that was a big career move for him. I love Kelsey Grammer anyways.
I love him, but when I saw that, I'm like, what? Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do without him and his tossed salad and scrambled eggs. So.
I mean, it was a terrible movie across the board. It wasn't even a great performance from him, but it was still a ballsy move. And I mean, that's one of the things about his career. He did that when he joined this cast of Star Trek. You know, it was a ballsy move, and I can appreciate that. Yeah. But the second Beast was the real Beast, in my opinion. It was the real Hank McCoy. Although he was a little less off the comic book and more off of what they thought Beast should be. Which, let me ask you this: is that annoying that the filmmakers will make their interpretation of what a character should be as opposed to what this millions of pages of content, and I see Brandon laughing, so he's going to go first, this million of content that they have of an actual character, and they go off the rails and like, I'm going to do this because I want to. Brandon.
Well, if you could do a supercut of all the shows I've done with you, and I've said this a multitude of times, but there is so much content that is well written and well established that it annoys me when they just throw it all out completely. Like, I don't mind making creative changes. There's been a lot of creative changes in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have been, pretty good. But some of the stuff they did with X-Men, especially once we got to the like Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, that became just why.
Well, okay, so across the board, all the nerddom in the world, all the movies, the TVs, everything. What's the most off the rails? Are you kidding me? Why did you do that moment? Either in character or whatever. They were just wrong. Just wrong. Steven. Folks, you guys, I don't know if you see it or not, but the look on all their faces are like, really? But there's got to be one that you're like, are you serious right now? That's just, no, you're just wrong.
Okay, I guess like off of the top of my head would be Topher Grace's Venom.
God, that's a bad one. Yeah.
So talk to us. Tell us. Explain, Steven.
I just feel like they rushed. They put too many characters into that film. They could have waited. They could have made 3 better with. I liked the Sandman in that movie. I wish they had made the movie more about him, fleshed that story out, and then they could have added Venom later on if they had kept going with that series.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the Spider-Man series went off the rails, and why I think they stopped making them. 2 was great.
And they threw Harry in there too. And they threw Harry in there too.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Dakota.
I agree. Yeah.
Off the rails moment.
You're not gonna love this because I think you like the CW shows quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think they botched it with Green Arrow. I mean, I think they didn't have a Batman show and they wanted one. So they're like, let's make this funny, charismatic character into a dark, brooding badass like Batman is. And they leaned into the darkness of it really hard, and it turned me off really bad.
I'm not gonna lie. So I like the show. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Yeah.
I did like the show up until season 3, and then I was done. I was done. I know, and I think they know they were wrong. They just didn't care.
Yeah.
By the time season 3 was going around, they didn't care. They do it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. What you want?
Yeah, that was the first one they did. Yeah, that was the first one they did. I mean, they got better, I think, every time. I think Flash was a little better than that, and Black Lightning, and
Black Lightning. I think Flash. The only problem with Flash is, and you said this about Arrow, the comedy in Arrow that was never there, which Steven swears was in this last season. Zero comedy from the Flash, and I'm like, that's just thing. So I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Brandon Shea.
So not to dip too much more into the Spider-Man but Jamie Foxx's Electro wasn't,
That was awkward too, yeah.
that was I know that's a character that they always wanted to do, and I get it. Mm-hmm. As a creator, and I think we're all creators in our own right. As a creator, you can at least appreciate the desire to want to play that character, want to do that character. But at some point, you got to say to yourself, I can't do it.
I think there's so much wrong with that movie just in general. But it sticks out like a blue sore thumb.
So there's so much to choose from. I was going to say Kitty Pryde in Days of Future Past, but I don't want to beat the X-Men while they're down. So I'm going to say one that, because the series itself had always gone off the rails, and they had one of my favorite characters, and then they did something I still to this day don't understand. Why they made Johnny Storm the Super Skrull in the middle of a movie is beyond me, because he was the Human Torch, and they could just go get the Super Skrull and make 2 different movies instead of just one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what happened with Fantastic Four 2. I don't even understand.
Fantastic Four or
yeah.
I don't even understand. I mean,
that's
Super Skrull
one phrase.
Let's face it. That's a go-to bad guy from Marvel, especially with the Fantastic Four. So either go get him, Because A, you're going to screw up Galactus, and they did. B, I mean, I will admit they didn't screw up Silver Surfer, but I was uncompelled to watch because of everything else that they had done wrong already.
Galactus is a good point.
Galactus was terrible. And we're going to get Galactus again, and I hope they don't screw it up.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do with the new Fantastic Four. That's one of the franchises that I'm not as hopeful about.
Listen, if you notice, I hadn't even gotten into that second foray into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to talk about that. That's so far off. Right?
That movie is like, it literally seems like they made a whole movie and then cut out the middle and just stuck it together. Because it goes straight from like plot point building and there's an end. There's just no like, I don't know. It's the weirdest. I've never seen a movie that flowed that horribly before. Besides Justice League.
Folks are watching
to keep their license.
We're having a good time at Virtual Visioncon. Again, you can check us out on popgoesculture.com/Fanatics and the Fan, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can see our Cosplay Day every day, Monday through Friday. You'll find that we are a diverse group of people. We're not all here. We've got anime nerds that aren't here because they're not here. They have lives. No, they don't. Dakota's one of our anime nerds. Now, we've got a long-running discussion about what's good anime and what's not. Dakota, tell the fans what's good anime.
Oh, boy. Demon Slayer this year won Best Animation and Best Anime in general. So it's won a ton of awards already, and it's just one season in. I have all the manga for it. It's badass. The way they do that animation is it's like the old retro Japanese style of like the water paint. I don't know, how they do it is amazing. Fire Force is a blast. They somehow went from the coolest intro to an anime ever to this weird butt rock intro in the second half of it. And that kind of took me out of it. Zach will disagree with me, but My Hero's great. It gets a little slow this season, but Zach says it's baby's first anime.
Now, Brandon, one of VisionCon's biggest selling points for me back in the day, and even still, you guys take a lot of pride in the anime room. So I'm assuming you know enough about anime to say that you think anime is important to the nerd world, yes?
I can definitely say that much. I see there is a lot of fandom and a lot of very strong-willed and very, very fun fandom, but they do all that stuff that seems weird and niche to me fills up panel rooms. So I love it all.
They are passionate people.
Mm-hmm.
I recall one of my earliest memories of VisionCon is being introduced to, and it's weird that you can sit in an anime room at a VisionCon event for 2.5 hours, but I watched Vampire Hunter D, and that's how I learned about that. I also watched Macross. This is at the same VisionCon. So I love the anime room as much as I love the movie room. Two major points of VisionCon. Steven, if you could have them play one movie every year at VisionCon in the movie room, what would it be?
One movie every year at VisionCon.
Well, in addition to all the others, not just the one movie, because that would be boring.
That's fair. I'd love to see the original Transformers '84 animated.
Okay.
That was one of my favorites growing up.
Brandon,
That'd be good.
what's going on your list for movies at VisionCon every year?
Well, I already have a list of movies every year. It's called Buffy. It's called Dr. Horrible Sing-Along. It's called Rocky
Dr.
Horror Picture
Horrible,
Show.
yes.
Now that's the original Buffy movie, right? You really actually like that?
No, it's not the Buffy movie. It's actually the one episode, the musical one. What's More With Feeling? That's the
What's
one.
More With Feeling?
That's what everybody wants to watch. It's one of those things that they complain when it's not there. So
you need to. So when I'm going to do a viewing party with Nicholas Brandon in the future. You need to check it out and come join us. It's one of my favorite episodes to view. So, Dakota.
Man, I got to steal from Brandon now. Because we talked about Joss Whedon a couple times in this, and you guys talked about Felicia Day. Dr. Horrible is one of my favorite movies in the world.
Yes, this is such a good movie.
There's nowhere you can stream it right now, and I keep planning to buy it, and I haven't yet. Just a hard copy, but I love that movie so much.
I think you can listen to the soundtrack on.
I own the whole soundtrack on the iTunes, at least. Yeah, it's such a good soundtrack.
Despite the series, please understand, despite the series, my go-to movie is going to be either the first Avengers or Ultron, one or the other. The first Avengers because it was the first. And it was so amazing to see all of that be done. Because, and you guys say yay or nay, but you got to know in the back of your mind, a lot of people like us were like, they can't pull this off. I don't care what's happened. I don't care how good Iron Man was. This is the Avengers. They don't screw it up, or they shouldn't do it, or it's not going to work. And it did.
Yeah.
We got exactly the Avengers we needed.
They built up those core movies right before it, and they brought it together. They planned it right.
Disgusting. Yeah. I can honestly say I didn't find anything wrong with Avengers at all. And
that's still solid.
That's rare.
And they even had the hiccup with the Hulk, and they still and it still worked out.
I can remember the conversations up to the point where it was like we'd seen movies have too many bigger than life characters on the screen before.
Right.
That's one of the Spider-Man's biggest problems in the past was when they started throwing in too many characters, we'd start losing it. So I knew that was the biggest concern, is that we have a huge core of characters that all have to have their own story pulling through this. How are we going to put it all together in one movie? And that was they did an amazing job with it in the first Avengers.
They had the potential to really blow it. Because think about, just go past the Avengers, because they also added I can't remember her last name. Kobe played whoever Kobe was playing.
Smolders.
Yeah, whoever.
Hill.
Hill.
Yeah, Mariah Hill.
She's actually really important to Marvel and S.H.I.E.L.D. So she had a small part in Avengers. It's a big character.
And Coulson became a big deal too.
Coulson blew us away, and I'm like, okay. And then of course you've got Nick Fury. Those are background characters. And then Thanos was there in a way. But you've also got Loki. And he shared the screen. They all shared the screen. And not for nothing, but Hiddleston's Loki, you couldn't recast that at any point in time because he was Loki.
I think that about every one of them, honestly.
And he shared this. They all shared the screen. And I'm sorry. That's just amazing, especially with, Robert Downey.
Well, what helped them to be able to share the screen was the prior movies to the Avengers.
Yeah, they had backstory.
And having those backstories, they didn't have to lean on as much of the backstory in the Avengers. They already had it there.
And just because I want to change the subject, and we as a group, this is one of the few topics we haven't actually already talked about. The next phase of Marvel, despite everything that we're going through now, do you have hopes, beliefs, dreams, desires? Is it going to make it? Is it going to tank? What do you think? Dakota.
Boy, okay. I've got a lot to say. Marvel's my favorite thing ever. But I've got a few things to say about that.
That's your wife hear you say
that. Netflix did an okay job out the gate with Daredevil, and then they kind of got real sidetracked real quick. And I got real excited for Iron Fist, and they just Iron Fist. And now they're doing another one of my favorite B characters, and they're gonna do Moon Knight. And so I'm really skeptical and nervous about it. But holy cow! I mean, the WandaVision looks awesome. Winter Soldier and Falcon looks pretty awesome. The Loki and Doctor Strange show looks pretty awesome. The fact that Disney's in control of it again and Marvel Universe is doing it, I feel safe with it.
I think WandaVision and Doctor Strange look like a bad acid trip.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Brandon,
So I think that we're going to see a dip. I mean, we don't have the same fervor for it as we did leading into all of the Infinity War stuff. Marvel's still going to put out quality content because that's the only thing that's making Marvel money right now. I think we're still going to have a lot of good shows that are going to have, their bad points too, or they're going to have good movies that are going to have their bad points. I mean, even the weak Marvel movies so far are still, on the whole, good cinematic, just fun. So I don't think that we have anything to worry about per se, but it's one of those things that we aren't going to see. Our golden era just ended with the Infinity Saga. So
now, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but Brandon actually got a little puffy chest and stuck his check out the lifter. I mean, because let's face it, you can appreciate living through a golden era. I mean, I'm proud of him. But he's right. And not very often you can say that, because the golden era is usually the best era of anything. And yeah, we lived through an amazing golden era of MCU. Steven, any hopes for the? I mean, there's a lot coming. A lot.
I have hopes. I don't see it hitting the level of the Infinity War and Endgame anytime soon. I like what they're doing with the shows. I think we'll get, like Brandon said, we'll get quality content, and there will be hit or miss, but I think overall I've got hopes for it.
All right, folks, let me see if I can pin them down to something. Everybody, quick answer. What are they going to screw up? Dakota.
Boy, I think they're going to screw up the Captain America Falcon stuff.
Brandon.
Probably Doctor Strange.
Steven.
Sorry, Dakota. Moon Knight. I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
I was going to say Moon Knight as well.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Moon Knight's going to be hard to pull off. I agree.
It will, but I believe they could.
Because we're talking about Marvel so much, and we've talked about DC. You guys miss good comics?
Yeah, I do.
I when she has gone to the dogs. I would love to be able to fix that and still be able to save the environment. But I miss going to the comic book store every Wednesday and getting my comic books. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The comic industry is kind of folding right now, and it's not doing a lot to help itself. It's not producing anything that is selling books. It's leaning into ideas that might be new and might seem more hip and stuff, but they're not really. It's not selling books, and
political as hell.
Ultimately, I think that we may see the end of some major series. In fact, even might see comic book publishers stop publishing some of those different things. So.
Hey, folks, once again, this is Fanatics and the Fan, and here's our top 5 for our Visioncon show. We decided to do something special, so we come up with our very own top 5 Visioncon guests that we love. And we're going to start off with number 5. Take it away, Brandon. Who was number 5?
Number 5 would be Sam Witwer. Amazing voice actor of Battlestar Galactica. He's Darth Maul in most of the Star Wars animated stuff, as well as Star Killer in the Force Unleashed games.
And he's a gaming nerd. He played D&D while he was in town. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great guy. I got to interview him a couple times. Got a couple of pictures of him, so we love him. And I'll do number 4. It's a good friend of mine. He's not just a Visioncon guest, but he's hosted. He's been on our show several times, and you'll probably hear from him during this current crisis. Number 4 is, of course, the comedy legend Mikey Mason. Amazing guy. You can find all his stuff on MikeyMason.com. I love. What's your favorite song from him?
She Don't Like Firefly.
She Don't Like Firefly is an amazing. For me, it's best game ever. Number 3, take it away, Steven.
Number 3, I'm going to go with John Wesley Shipp. Real nice guy. Most of you may know him as the original Flash. He's been an actor for many years.
He's an awesome actor, and it's sad to see that he's not going to be on that series anymore. But it was great having him. He was an awesome guest.
He really was.
Nicest guy ever.
Yes, nicest guy ever. I'm shocked he wasn't actually higher on the list, but Brandon.
Number 2 would be Ernie Hudson.
Woohoo!
Another amazing, very nice person, but he was so much fun, and he was very much a part of the crowd and everything. So it was always nice to have an original Ghostbuster there.
And ironically, number 2 and Zach's not number 1, and Zach's not here to say it, but I'm going to do a couple honorable mentions just so we don't forget them. Abby Darkstar and Keith Zen. We got honorable mention because they're such amazing guests. Eric Moran participated so much. I got to do a panel with him that we're also going to do this year without him. Vets for Nerds was a great thing. Number 1 honorable mention for you, Steven. Go.
Last year, Robbie Wrist. It
Love.
was good to see him there.
Brandon.
Aaron Douglas. He was there my very first year as on staff. He was one of the one of my favorite ones. Yep.
And finally our number 1 all-time favorite Visioncon guest, multi-talent actress, Miss Jules State, from, of course, famed Firefly and Magicians and almost everything other great nerd show that you're watching right now. She is involved with. She's been in Supernatural. She's an amazing person. It was great seeing her in town. She seemed to have a lot of fun. She was very interactive with all of the attendees. Couldn't have picked a better person that year for your first year back in the Springfield. So it was awesome. Folks, check us out every week on Fanatics and the Fan. For all the craziness we've done through Visioncon and Facebook, give me one great Visioncon story right now and go. Right back to the show.
For me, probably my favorite Visioncon moment would have to be getting out on stage that first year I was president, and just the response that we got from, first of all, we took a big risk moving into the big convention center. We took a big risk. We weren't quite big enough for it, and people came out and people supported us. So for me, that was a very proud moment. It was a very, hey, I didn't screw up.
I would say one of my favorite moments was when Visioncon came back to Springfield, and Brandon and I, as well as the rest of the Fanatics, we planned all these major events. We're going to do trivia. We're going to do that Mortal Kombat tournament. We're going to give away, I don't remember what we gave away, but we're going to give away something. And the fans showed up. But I remember saying, Brandon, there's like 30 people at my booth because of this Mortal Kombat tournament.
You're creating quite a block. Quite a little block.
And I was like, oh, awesome. Cool. So we added gaming tournaments and gaming to Geekmas because obviously you guys like to do it. So that's what we're going to do from now on. We probably won't do another one at Visioncon. There might be a cyber beat, though, because that went over really well. Fanatics and Fans, we have after parties. We do trivia. We have so much fun at Visioncon, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the virtual Visioncon with Fanatics and Fan, Pop Goes the Culture, and all the other great people, attendees, vendors. We are proud to be among them. Look for more great things from Fanatics and the Fan on Twitter, Instagram, as well as from Pop Goes the Culture. So from final words from Pop Goes the Culture, Dakota, go!
Pop Goes the Culture is so excited to be a part of this too. I know I've talked to Joey about this in depth quite a bit. So he's loving being involved with you. He's talked about how much this team up's been great for him and you. And I'm excited because I actually heard you on a Visioncon episode 2-3 years ago, and I didn't have any idea who you guys were. And then I showed up to Pop Goes the Culture, and there you were. And
put you on the spot. What was the craziest news story Joey has told you that you can remember off the top of your head right now? Go.
Oh, man, it was about a guy dry humping Olaf dolls at a Target.
I remember that thread.
Yeah. Yeah, that was we ran with that really hard. Not just humped him, he humped him to completion. mind you. They had to throw out all the Olaf dolls to be safe.
Jeez, that's.
And one final thing, folks, be sure to check us out on Sato 48. Fanatics and Fan is a sponsor of Pop Culture Reference Award. You will also see some of the Fanatics in a couple of the one amazing movie. Hope you guys enjoy everything. Hope you guys enjoyed our show. You can catch us on, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Of course, popgoestheculture.com/Fanatics and the Fan. So for
Brandon,
Steven,
Dakota,
as well as Joey Mills, Curtis, Caitlin, Raylan, and one of my all-time favorites, Zach, I am Hawk, and this is Fanatics and the Fan.